Welcome back, children. We just finished a new lesson, that was Colors of Silence. We have finished around till paragraph 12. We will be starting paragraph 13. Before starting the new para, I would like to just remind you, I asked you to read the lesson. Read the lesson. There's a it's very important that you read the lesson, because in all the questions there will be extract questions which come from the lesson. So we have to be very careful that as soon as the lesson is over in English language, or be it Kannada or Hindi, you should just go through the lesson once more. You should read the lesson and read it thoroughly so that you can answer all the extract questions. So I would like to read the lessons for you. It will take just 2 or 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes. You can just go through your textbook. As I read, please look into your textbook. It's in page number 141, Unit 7, Colors of Silence. Satish, why didn't you come to school today? Surendra had to repeat the question 3 times before Satish heard him. He was lying on the bed, his eyes closed. Sweat glistened on his brows. No, I am not well, replied Satish. Of late, he had been down with something or the other. Why? What's the matter with you, Satish? His friend asked with concern. He put his hand on the forehead to feel it. I don't know, Surendra. It has been pretty bad since the last operation on my leg. I get those terrible headaches and then feel as if everything is going dark and silent. I feel miserable. But why are you speaking so softly? I can barely hear you. Surendra gave him a strange look. He had certainly not been speaking softly. Has he lost his hearing? Wondered Surendra. Poor Satish. He had been ill ever since he came back from the holiday in Kashmir the previous year. There had been an accident when he went hiking with his father and brother Inder. They were crossing a rickety bridge over some rapids. The boys stood and looked down at the swirling water below them. Look how the water is rushing at that spot, Satish pointed out to his brother. Just then his foot slipped, and losing his balance, he fell into the rapids. His screams were lost in the rushing sound of the water. When he regained consciousness, his legs were in a plaster cast, and his head hurt badly. He was bruised and aching all over. Though his legs healed, they remained weak, requiring several operations on them. Worse, he suffered frequently from bouts of fever and infection, especially of the ear. Seeing that Ramesh was in pain, Surendra now got up to go. Will you come to school tomorrow? He asked. Satish shook his head. A slow tear trickled down his cheeks after Surendra left. It felt as if some huge weight was pressing upon his head, making everything seem far away and silent. He felt helpless and upset at being confined to bed as he was. The silence was the worst. Everything seemed like scenes from some pantomime show. He wanted to scream to break the silence, but didn't. For the 8-year-old boy, this was terrible. The doctors didn't know the cause, except that it was caused by medicines given to treat his legs. So we have finished till now. Till now we have finished till number 12. So we will be continuing now with number 13. Now as we just go on, we have come across in the first part 3 people, that is Satish, his friend Surendra and Inder. Satish is the boy, Surendra is the friend, Inder the brother. So one more person is going to come in this story, that is Avatar Narayan, father. So far we have seen only Satish and Surendra. These 2 people are yet to come in this story. This is the brother and this is Avatar Narayan, father. Okay, let's continue. Page number 143. 13th para. Due to his frequent absence and his hearing problem, due to his frequent absence, frequent means occurring many times, again and again he was absent. There are many students even in our classroom who keep on being absent, isn't it? Here this boy was absent because of his illness. He was sick, so he was absent. And he also had some hearing problems. Absence, absent, being absent. What is the opposite of absent? It's present, okay? Absence, presence, absent, present, because of his hearing problems. The school he was attending till then informed his father, Mr. Avatar Narayan, that they couldn't keep Satish. He was always being absent. So the school said, no, we cannot keep your son in this school because he is always absent. So his father said, we will have to look for a new school. His father said, yes, he is always absent, so we will see a new school, we will change the school. From this school he will go to a different school. Next, we will go to 15. No, sorry, it's 14. Satish shook his head saying, no. He didn't want to go to a school where he couldn't talk to other children. You know, when you are in one school, you make friends there, you have many friends. If your mother says, no, enough, now 3 years you have gone to this school, now in the 4th standard you will go to another school. What will you say? You say, no, I have all my friends here in this school, I want to be here only. The same thing here Satish says. Satish says, no, I don't want to change my school, I want to come to the same school. Why? He couldn't, where he couldn't talk to other children. If he goes to a new school, he will have to make new friends. All the children in that school will be new to him. So he says, no, I will not go to a new school where everyone would make fun of his deafness. He was deaf, he cannot hear. So he felt, if I go to a new school, there all the boys will make fun of me. Makkar martare, yange martare, jokes martare nan bagge. So he said, no, I don't want to go. I want to be in the same school. But the headmaster has told, you have to change his school because he's always absent. Father also said, okay, we'll change the school. But Satish, not ready to go to another school. He wanted to be in the same school. Okay, next what happened? Beta, you have to go to school and learn. So just because he's sick, he cannot stay in school. You have to go to school. You have to learn. Now see your plight, you're at home, children. So we are doing lessons over here. You're at home. Don't you feel bored at home? You're waiting when the school will start. When we are going back to school. When we'll meet our friends. When we'll meet our teachers. When will I sit in a classroom and listen to the lesson. So same situation over here. Satish is at home since a long time. He feels he wants to go back to school. And father says, you should go to school and learn. Here the problem is, or the school is there, but Satish cannot go because of his sickness. What will he do in life if we don't get education? If you don't get education, what will you do? What will you do in this sitting at home? You have to be educated, you have to learn something. I told you, just 8 years boy. 8 years means 1st, 2nd, 3rd standard. With the 3rd standard education, what will you do? He said. He asked his son. Satish heard snatches of his words, but knew what he was saying. Snatches of his words. So the father was saying, he could hear only few words, parts of the word. For example, when you use a mobile phone, sometimes there will be a network problem. So when you hear the phone, you will only hear half of it. And nothing else. Again you will hear some words, again little words. So what you will say, Nimadu swara spashta ardha kelta untu, purti kelta illa. Same situation over here, Satish could hear only snatches, parts. Onondu bhaga matra keltittu. Appa ಹೇಳಿದ. But he knew what his father was saying. Father was saying that he should go to school, he should be educated. That is what his father was saying. After a lot of persuasion means manavolisodu. Hogbeku, neen ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ತಪ್ಪಿಸಬಾರದು. See here, persuasion, manavolisivike. You should go to school, you can't be at home, you're a small boy, you need education, new schools, you will make new friends. Don't worry, you go to school. This is what father told with the Satish. He finally agreed to go along to the new school. After father told him a lot of things about the new school, Satish he agreed, okay, I will go to the new school. So now at the situation is Satish has agreed to go to a new school. Now we will see what happens when father goes searching for Satish a new school. Okay, 16. But this school didn't want him for the same reason. Father went to a school, requested them, please give my son a seat in your school. But they said, no, we cannot give your son a seat in this school for the same reason. Why? He cannot hear, he is always absent, he is sick. ಮೂರು ವಿಷಯ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ಕೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಿವಿ ಕೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಒಂದು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಮೂರು ಕಾರಣ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಶಾಲೆಯವರು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸೀಟ್ ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಬಾಯ್ಸ್. ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೆಚ್ಚೆ ಸೇರಿಸಿಬಿಟ್ರು ಅಪ್ಪನಿಗೆ. ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದರು? ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಬಾಯ್ಸ್. ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರು? ನಾವು ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಣ್ಣು, ಕೈ, ಕಾಲು, ಕೈ, ಕಿವಿ, ಮೂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ ಇದೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಫೈನ್, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಮನುಷ್ಯರು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ. ಅವನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂನ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ, ಈಗ ಕಿವಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಪಾಪ, ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈ ಶಾಲೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಂದರು. ದ ಹೆಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಫಾದರ್ ಅವತಾರ್ ನಾರಾಯಣ್, ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ವೈ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸನ್ ಟು ದ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಡೆಫ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಮ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್? ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರು. He didn't stop it there. ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಿತ್ತು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವಾಕ್ಯ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸೇರಿಸಿಬಿಟ್ರು ಅವರು. What did he say? Why don't you admit your son to a deaf and dumb school? Deaf and dumb school there are. For the blind, there is a school. For a person who cannot speak, there is a school. Who cannot hear, there is a school. Special schools they are called. It is for children who have some problems. Okay? This headmaster said, why don't you put your son to a deaf and dumb school? Ask the headmaster of the school. This is what the headmaster of the new school told with Avatar Narayan. Bluntly, ಯಾವುದೇ ಭಾವನೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಆ ಅಪ್ಪನಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಸರ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಹೀಗಾಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಬೇಸರ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪುನಃ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕ, ಆ ಶಾಲೆ ಹೆಡ್ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಕೂಡ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾತಾಡುವಾಗ he felt very sad. Bluntly, ಯಾವುದೇ ಭಾವನೆಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ, ಬ್ಲಂಟ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಭಾವನೆಗಳಿಲ್ಲದೆ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ರು. ಅವತಾರ್ ನಾರಾಯಣ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಗರ್ಡ್. ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಬರೋದೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅಪ್ಪ, ಆ ಹುಡುಗನ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅವರು, ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಬರೋದೇ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿ ಫೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಗರ್ಡ್. ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂತವರಿಗೆ. ಇವನಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಸಂಗ? ಶಾಲೆ ಸೀಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಪುನಃ ಬೇರೆ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಹಾಕಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪುನಃ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ವಿಷಯ ಕೂಡ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನಲ್ಲ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂತು. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಟರ್ನ್ ದ ಪೇಜ್ ಟು 144. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಅವತಾರ್ ನಾರಾಯಣ್ ಸೇ? ಮೈ ಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡಮ್ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ. ಡೆಫ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಮ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಕಿವಿ ಕೇಳಿದವರಿಗೆ ಬಾಯಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದೋಸ್ ಹೂ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಟಾಕ್. ಸೊ ಹೀ ಸೇಸ್, ನಾವು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅವತಾರ್ ನಾರಾಯಣ್, Satish, he cannot hear, but he can talk. So he says, my son is not dumb, sir. My son is not dumb, sir. His hearing is little bad. Hearing, ಕೇಳುವ ಒಂದು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ, ಕೇಳುವುದು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ವಿನಃ ಮಾತಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರು. He is under treatment and will soon be fine. Father also says, now treatment is going on. We are treating him. He will get well soon. So we cannot put him to a deaf and dumb school. He argued, but in vain. He went on arguing and telling him, but in vain. Whatever he told, the headmaster did not listen, nor did he give him a seat in the school. So now Avatar Narayan's first experience was, no, he didn't get a seat for his son. Other schools had the same to say. Not even one school. He went to different schools. All schools where he went, they gave him the same answer, that we cannot admit your son to our school. No seat. Okay? The same situation went on in other schools also. In despair, he didn't know what to do. What happened? Father and son returned home. Both came back home. Father and son both came back home. Next we'll see 18th para. Though Avatar Narayan felt shattered, shattered murdu bidodu, helpless, shattered, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನಿಗೆ. He felt helpless. ಕೆಳಗೆ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ, ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು ನೀವು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವು ನಾನು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೇ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅರ್ಥವನ್ನು ಆ ವರ್ಡ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ. ನಾನು ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗಿ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ವರ್ಡ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರೀರಿ. ಕೆಲವು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ನ ಅರ್ಥಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಸೊ ಶ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಲೆಸ್. ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು? ವಾಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಡೂ? ಸಚ್ ಅ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಬಾಯ್, 8-year-old boy, no school is taking him. What to do? He felt shattered. ಮನಸ್ಸು ಮುರಿದು ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅವನಿಗೆ, ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಲೆಸ್, ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನಿಗೆ. he wouldn't give up hope. ಆದರೆ ಹೋಪ್ ಎಂಬುದಲ್ಲ, ಆಸೆ, ನಂಬಿಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಭರವಸೆ. ನನ್ನ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೇನೆ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೇ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ಎಂಬ ಒಂದು ಅವನ ಎಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್, ಒಂದು ಭರವಸೆ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನು. ಈ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಹೋಪ್. ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಿ ನನ್ನ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಶಾಲೆ ಸೇರ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಹೋಪ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ 2 ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ಫಾದರ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ಸನ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ಫಾದರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಫಾದರ್ನ ಮುಂದೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಾದರ್, ಮದರ್. ಇದು ಜೆಂಡರ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ? ಜೆಂಡರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಜೆಂಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಮ್ಯಾಸ್ಕ್ಯುಲೈನ್, ಇದು ಫೆಮಿನೈನ್. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಸನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಏನು ಬರೀಬೇಕು? ವಾಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ರೈಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸನ್? ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ. If it's father, mother, son, it is daughter. These are not opposites. Father ನ opposite mother ಅಲ್ಲ, it's gender. ಲಿಂಗಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. So it is masculine gender and feminine gender. King, queen, grandfather, grandmother, son, daughter, boy, girl. All these are masculine gender and feminine gender. Okay, now 2 words have come up over here, so I have put it here. In lesson if you come across those words, remember these are genders, ಲಿಂಗಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಓಕೆ, ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತು ನಮ್ಮದು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು? he wouldn't give up hope. ಭರವಸೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನು. ನನ್ನ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ನಾನು ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಒಂದು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಹೇಗಾದರೂ ಸೇರಿಸ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ ಅನ್ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಿಡಿಷನ್ ಟು ದ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್, unsuccessful, successful, opposite, unsuccessful. UN is the prefix there. Successful, unsuccessful. This is the opposite. Here un is the prefix. Okay? So unsuccessful expeditions. Expedition means ಯಾತ್ರೆಗಳು, ಹೋಗೋದು, ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬರೋದು. ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್, ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಸೇ ನೋ, he comes back. Next day to one more school, there they go, they said no seat, come back. So many times they went to different schools in that place, but no school admitted this boy. Satish became very moody. Natural, isn't it? Feeling sad, feeling moody. Even we feel sad sometimes. When something doesn't go our way, or something sad becomes, or we feel sad over some issues, we become moody. Children become moody, elders become moody, even the old people will feel moody sometimes, isn't it? So going to school, hearing a no, coming back. Going to school, hearing a no, coming back. He became moody. He didn't know what was going on in his life. He couldn't talk freely with anyone because he was unable to hear a single word. Now what happened? Before he used to hear a little he could hear, but now he cannot hear anything, not a single word he can hear. Without hearing, can we talk? No, we can't talk. If you talk to me, I will talk to you. If you talk to me, I hear, I then answer back. Then I can talk to you. But here what happened? He couldn't talk to anybody freely because he couldn't hear a single word. Now what happened? I told you he had a brother by name Indar. This is Indar. I-N-D-E-R, Inder. This brother, he felt very sad seeing the state of his brother. So what happens? Inder, he used to sit with his brother. His brother Inder sat for hours with him and talked to him. Just talking to his brother. Hours together, sitting with the brother and talking to him. Teaching him words and pronunciation. Teaching him words. Because he's a small boy. He was just 8 years old. So this is the elder brother. He doesn't know, he doesn't go to school. So he was teaching him words and how to pronounce those words. ಉಚ್ಚಾರಣೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕಲಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದ. So Inder used to sit with him. Inder and Satish sit together and they used to learn words and pronunciation. Unable to bear the taunts and teasing of the children in the neighborhood. Taunts. Taunt, what is taunt? ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ನೋವಾಗುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಓಕೆ, ನೋವಾಗುವ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಟಾಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಔಟ್, ದ ನೇಬರ್ಹುಡ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಟಾಂಟ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೀಸ್ ಹಿಮ್, ಕಾಲ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಬೈ ನೇಮ್ಸ್. ಮಕ್ಕರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ವ್ಯಂಗ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದು, ಏನೋ ಹೆಸರು ಕರೆಯೋದು ಅವನಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಶು ಟೀಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ದೇ ಶು ಟಾಂಟ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಇನ್ ದ ನೇಬರ್ಹುಡ್, ದ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ನೇಬರ್ಹುಡ್. So Satish, what happened? He stopped going out. Satish even avoided going out to play. He used to go out to play with the children. But hearing their taunts and hearing their calling him names, he thought, okay, I won't go out. So even going out to play, he stopped. Now Satish was literally a prisoner in the house. ಜೈಲೊಳಗೆ ಕೂತ ಹಾಗೆ, ಮನೆ ಒಳಗೆ, ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. So he was confined first to bed. Even if it was, he is fine now, he can walk about, he can't go out, he can't go to play. Because he doesn't want to hear all that. He cannot hear. But he can feel that atmosphere outside, how we mingle with people. When we are happy, you know, by the faces we can make out who is happy with us and who is not happy with us. So he came to know that they are teasing him, making fun of him. He stopped going out to play. So Satish was inside the house. Okay, next we'll see what happened. His father and Inder spent time with him every day. Every day. Father, son. They both used to come and sit with Satish. Inder and father. They come to him, they sit with him and spend time with him. Talking to him, trying to teach him things. Talking to him. We need people to talk. If you are alone in the house with nobody to talk, it is really sad, isn't it? It's very saddening. So these is to keep going to him, talk to him, teach him new things. If you want to get on in life, you have to read a lot. His father said, you want to go in life, you want to become a big man, you want to go forward in your life, you have to read. You can learn a great deal of things just by reading. Father said, you can't go out, no problem, just by reading the book, you can learn lots of things. His father told Satish, giving him an armful of books. In his arm, this is arm, full of books, so many books. He brought and came and gave it to Satish and told him, just by reading you will know lots. That's the truth. You can bring the world to our feet with books. ಇಡೀ ಭೂಲೋಕ ಸುತ್ತದಿದ್ರೂ ಇಡೀ ಭೂಲೋಕ ವಿಷಯ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ. That's what his father told and brought him books and gave him. Satish leafed through them. Leafed means just turning the page, reading carefully each one, reading all, turning. Leafed through the books. The life of Garibaldi. The life of Garibaldi. He is a person who found the place called Italy. Italy ಎಂಬ ಊರನ್ನು ಹುಟ್ಟು ಹಾಕಿದವ ಗ್ಯಾರಿಬಾಲ್ಡಿ. ಅವನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಲೈಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಿಬಾಲ್ಡಿ, how was his life, a book written in Urdu by Lala Lajpat Rai. Lala Lajpat Rai you know very well, he is a freedom fighter. He wrote this book, Life of Garibaldi. That book Satish's father has brought for him now. Next, the works of Munshi Premchand, Sarat Chandra and several others, all writers, novelists, writers, kategararu, Kadambari all books he brought and gave this fellow. Imagine, he's not a big boy, he's a 15, 20 years old, he's a small boy, maybe 8, 9, 10, inside that. Okay? So many books were brought and given to this boy. It was as if the whole world opened for him. As he was reading the book, he felt the full world was open in front of him. Satish became a voracious reader. Satish became a voracious reader. This word voracious has come once before in our 4th lesson, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The same word has come here. This voracious reader means he used to read a lot. The books, however, were all serious works meant for older children and sometimes even for adults. The books were good. They were good books. He could see the world in those books, but those books were not for his age. It was for older children, for adults who were about 21 years. All those books father has come and his father has bought for Satish. So reading all these books, what happens? They made him feel depressed, depressed, and felt a deep and left a deep impression upon his sensitive mind. Sukshma manasu, maguvina manasu. Avani pustakalu odidre hegagbodu? So slowly he went to depression. His was a child's mind. He is a child, 8-year-old or 9-year-old child. These books are read by adults or big boys and girls. So reading those books, sure, those books are good, but Satish, he went to depression. He came to know of another world through them, a world of suffering and anguish. Suffering, kashtagaladu, anguish, dukkakara, world agtittu. So he learnt all that. Adella tilita avanige. He learnt all those things. How the world is suffering, how the world is in problem, everything he came to know. He brooded long and hard about why there was so much suffering in the world while his own world looked comfortable in comparison. When reading the books, he felt that his world is the happiest. Comparing those life of Garibaldi and Munshi Premchand's, Sharat Chandra's works, he felt his life was far more happy. He felt comfortable, happy with his own life. I am on 21st para. Another bout of fever struck and Satish was confined to bed. When he was fine, he used to read. But now again, once more he gets fever and is again back to bed. All he could do now was sit and stare out of the window or read. Only 2 works here. He was in the bed, he sit there in the bed, look out of the window, stare out of the window, read the book, out of the window, read. Only 2 work he had. He felt lonely and full of despair at his plight. He felt lonely, ontitana kaditavaniಗೆ, and despaired at his plight in the avaste. First lesson hero part bantu flight anteli word flight, F-L-I-G-H-T, flight up the tree. The boy flight up the tree, that is F-L-I-G-H-T. This is plight, P-L-I-G-H-T, plight andre avaste. So tanna avaste ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಫೀಲ್ ಆಯಿತು. But what could we do? Okay, in our next class we will go to the information on what he has done, what happens to his life, what improvements take place. We will learn in the next lesson. Before I go, once more I tell you, kindly go through these words. We have started from page para 13. From 13 to 21 you are going to read and be ready for the next class. Thank you, children.